Hello friends and potential friends. Well, since my last videos I've had a couple of questions about this green thing in the middle of my raised bed. So I figured I better come talk to you about it. A few people have guessed that this is an in-ground worm feeder. And I got it from Vego Garden. It was a free gift if you ordered so much. And as you can probably guess, I don't have any problems meeting their minimum order requirements to get the free gift. In fact, I've got a couple of their coffee mugs too. But anyway, I thought I'd give you my thoughts on this worm bin. To start with, if you've watched many of my other gardening videos, you know I don't have any problems attracting worms into my bins. Anytime I dig a hole out here, it seems like I find more worms. So I decided to put it in anyway, even though I personally don't really need it. And I'm going to see how it works out. Now to begin with, it's fairly deep. Goes all the way to the bottom of the bed. And as you can see, it's got pretty good sized holes all the way around. Seems to be attracting a lot of roly-polies right at the moment. And then there are these air vents at the top. Now the instructions tell you to bury the bin in the ground so that these these vent holes stay above the soil. You want to let it breathe a little bit. Then you fill it up with about 2 inches of soil. Then you add your worm bedding material, which can be shredded up cardboard, newspaper, you name it. Any kind of paper that's not going to be toxic to the worms. Stay away from anything glossy and wide varieties of ink colors. And then once you get, maybe 4 or 5 inches of bedding in here, then you put your worms in. They say to put at least 200 worms in there. And, well, I'm not going to put any in there because there are dozens and dozens of worms in this bed. I couldn't help but find them. I got to the point where I just got tired of pulling them out and putting them in my other worm bed. So I just left them in the soil. And I figure once I start putting food in here, they're going to find their way in. That's my plan. Now, as far as the bin itself, it looks good. I mean, if you want uniform, nice looking stuff in all your garden beds, you could put one of these in every bed. Looks to be well constructed, well thought out. It's just injected plastic. Time will tell whether they put ultraviolet protection in it, but there it is. And now for my personal opinions. Again, this is not a sponsored video. They're not endorsing me or anything like that. And quite frankly, once you hear the rest of this, you probably know that I would lose any sponsorship that I get. Because, in my opinion, this thing is drastically overpriced. Now, I'm not going to state the price here. I will put a link in the description so you can go take a look for yourself. And hey, if you're the type of person that wants everything aesthetically pleasing, or you just have more dollars than cents, go for it. I mean, quite frankly, if I was to put one of these in each of my raised beds right now, I'd be spending over $600, and I don't think that's worth it. My recommendation, and it's mirrored by my friend Rick at Gardening with Bar Chucking and a couple others, is if you really need an in-ground worm bin to attract worms into your beds, go get yourself a 5-gallon bucket with a lid and drill a bunch of holes in it and bury it in your garden and then put the worms in. It'll work just as well and cost you a lot less. So that's my personal opinion. And incidentally, if you want to see an example of 5-gallon bucket in-ground worm bins, I happen to know that my friends Sydney and Tori over at the Naked Gardener channel are using those in some of their in some of their garden rows. So you can go over there and see how they look, see how well they work for them, and make your own decisions. And I'll just leave it at that. and I'll see you next time.